and welcome to Grapperinos, the wrestling pizzeria where we serve you a slice of probably next week on Smackdown. I'm Bryon, and joining me in this endeavor, well, he was pretty mid about SummerSlam, I think. Mike. Say hi, Mike.
Hello. So I thought SummerSlam was okay. I think it was one of the better PLEs we've had in a while. Um, I think it was okay. I'm not mid about it. I thought it was decent. There were a bunch of decent matches, but I thought it was okay. Bryon, what were your thoughts about the combined two-night pay-per-view?
I would say that night one was, it was there. I think that there were some good matches. You know what? Just to be controversial, I actually really liked the main event. I think Punk versus Cody was a pretty good match. So, that was pretty good. For the other matches on night one, it was either okay or just, good. I think the biggest kind of criticism I have against this event and basically the recent WWE PLEs in general is that they're way too short. Or at least like the matches are too short. I understand you're on ESPN and you have to, advertise, and make your money, sure. But the matches shouldn't be this short, in my opinion. And honestly, I think despite the, 30 minutes or more being given to Punk versus Cody, could have been a little shorter. And that time could have been given to other matches. Night two, same criticism. Like, the matches are short. I honestly, people love Danhausen, but we could have done without, Danhausen and Dominic Mysterio. I'm sorry. I think that match did not need to be there. Even though I like Danhausen. I think Danhausen is cool. But he does not deserve a match at SummerSlam. He deserves, like, someone announcing attendance numbers or a backstage segment, but they don't do that anymore, so whatever. I think there were good decisions made in night two of the show. I think that Kevin Owens returning is pretty cool. Randy Orton returning, also pretty cool. Chelsea Green winning the soon-to-lose to Rhea Ripley when she comes back title. I think that was pretty good. Just good decisions all around. But unfortunately, just the matches and even stuff like, Chad Gable, winning his match and winning that first singles title in WWE is pretty cool. Even if the build up to that moment is not the best. I felt like that was a bit rushed just to make room for Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns. Fine, I guess, but it really cheapens that moment. And it doesn't help anyone when you have a when you have a mug root beer. That guy fucking just like gave him a fucking root beer and he chugs it like Stone Cold Steve Austin. And then he just like starts celebrating along with Chad Gable and his family, just pretending like he's part of it. And I'm just like, all this for an advertisement for mug root beer? It's just weird. Very weird. Seth Rollins vs. Roman Reigns was good. But I preferred Punk versus Cody. Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna remember a lot of this in the next couple of months. Just like I did with WrestleMania. I barely remember what happened at this year's Mania, which should not happen. But here we are. I don't know. Any other like last thoughts before we move on, I suppose, Mike?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to remember much. Maybe Brock Lesnar's last match, which I think was a bit of a letdown in terms of the finish. I think it was. I think it kind of ended a bit too soon for me. I would have liked to see them. I would have liked to see them go a little bit deeper, but yeah, I just that was disappointing to me. Everything else was pretty good. I agree with you. I like the Cody CM Punk match. I think the Chad Gable story was great with his family in the ring, and then bringing out the fucking mug root beer mascot was definitely a choice. Kind of ruined the moment, you know, but
yeah,
whatever. There was really no other weird spot. So.
Not really, no.
No. I thought it was okay. So.
Even the human monies on a pole match was safe.
you know, Brian. This was, I think, the first time that we've had a Big Four pay-per-view without any celebrity involvement.
Holy crap.
We had no celebrity involvement in this pay-per-view, so and somehow people are saying it's better than WrestleMania, you know? Put two and two together, I guess, but
wow.
We are
let's see if that streak continues.
It's on the road to Survivor Series, I guess. So.
Yeah. And now that, Kevin Owens is back, Randy Orton is back, they're gonna probably... I know this is kind of spoiling it a bit for the rest of the show. This show, I mean. But, yeah, they're probably gonna do the Cody versus Randy feud this time without Pat McAfee. Because we all know how that turned out. Yeah, SummerSlam, what a show. I guess we will move on straight ahead. I think we have Saturday Night's main event up next before Survivor Series. We have a Saturday Night's main event at, September, I think. September 6 or 9. Whichever one that is. I don't know. It's in September. And then we have Money in the Bank in October. That's right. We're putting Money in the Bank in October for some inexplicable reason. But here we are. And then we have Survivor Series in November. And that's it. That is the year when it comes to PLEs for the WWE. So that is that, I suppose. So now, the only thing we can do is predict what's going to happen on the next episode of Friday Night Smackdown as we get closer to Saturday Night's main event. And we do it on the show according to these rules. We tell you our bookings and predictions for what we think is going to happen from beginning to end of the show. And then we watch the actual next episode of Friday Night Smackdown. And we score our predictions and bookings based on this scoring system. And then we come back here, we tell you what we got, and we do it all over again. So, let's get to scores. I have... actually, I have a lot of points. I could be wrong, but I got 8. Majority of it comes from appearances. I got Cody, Punk, Trick, Baron, Gunther, Adam Pearce, and Finn Balor. Also, I would like to point out that I predicted Julia losing to Lash Legend. I just would like to say to the WWE, I would like to say, go fuck yourself for burying Julia in 2 minutes. Fuck you guys.
I heard somewhere that people said Julia is the female LA Knight. So, and I couldn't agree more. Yeah.
Yeah. Julia's buried. Good job, guys. Fucking idiots. Anyway, what about you, Mike?
Yes. So I had, I believe this was the SmackDown 2 weeks ago. Yes, Brandon, because we did do one last week because of the SummerSlam. Right? No, that was wrong. Okay, never mind. I'm dumb.
Yeah, it was wrong.
Yes, so I had, I believe I had Baron Corbin appearances. I actually had the War Raiders winning, but they didn't win. which I don't know why, because I know Damian Priest is in AAA. I had an appearance from CM Punk, Cody, Sami Zayn, and that was really where I got my points from. So, actually, one last thing about SummerSlam. Honestly, Nick Aldis having a candidate for match of the night was quite good. I mean, he really showed out, and I'm interested to see him wrestle again. If that was it, then that was great. I loved it.
You look at all the current main eventers. You have CM Punk and Roman Reigns, who are like 40 years old. You put them next to Nick Aldis, immediate, just like they get immediately downgraded when they get put next to Nick Aldis. It's just he's that good, in my opinion. I think he did very well, despite not wrestling for what 3 years, 4 years. So, I mean, for sure, I think the door is open for him to wrestle again if he wants to. But I feel like, this was on his bucket list, and he went up to Triple H and was like, hey, I want a match. And Triple H is like, all right, we'll give you a feud. And here you go. And that's that. How long until Adam Pearce also gets a match? I have no idea. And if so, against who? I also have no idea. I think Adam Pearce is kind of more of a he crashes out against everyone type of guy. So he doesn't really have like anyone who is like Gunther, who is just like, one guy who just really, really hates him. So I we'll see. We'll see
I
if
could definitely
Nick
see
Aldis
a
gets
a war game situation.
Nick Aldis?
Yeah, like Nick Aldis and Adam Peters both are part of a war games teams.
Oh yeah. You know what? I'll do one better. War Games, Raw versus SmackDown. There you go. Perfect. We'll include the GMs on there. Raw team versus SmackDown team. There you go. That's a compromise. Okay? I'm just saying. Instead of, fucking MFTs, fucking non-bloodline Tongans versus freaking the bloodline, okay? We've had enough. We've had enough of the bloodline. Anyway, let's get to the announced matches. I think there was only one, which is Charlotte Flair versus Jade Cargill. I think there might have been another one, which is about a bunch of luchadors, but I think they're on Raw instead. So, not here, fortunately. So, we'll see who gets fed to Roman Reigns, because we have to counter-program AEW. But anyway, that's not this show here. It is SmackDown. So, without further ado, let's book this thing. Head to my version of the show first, as CM Punk walks to the ring. He says, "Isn't it great to be alive on a Friday night, or what?" He brings up the win at SummerSlam against Cody, despite Randy Orton's intervention. He says he didn't need Randy Orton to win, and because of that, Cody Rhodes, you can challenge for my title at any time. He turns his attention to Kevin Owens. He congratulates Kevin Owens for the win, but says that he doesn't stand a chance against the best in the world, no matter how big his fight is. Kevin Owens then interrupts him. He says he feels good to get the win because he overcame everything, even overcoming his friend, Sami Zayn, to get the opportunity. He says Punk has to be ready for the fight of his life because he is more energized than ever before. CM Punk tells him good luck, and they have a little bit of a handshake moment, only for Kevin to tug Punk closer to him, and they get their angry faces on as they go face to face. I think this is going to be a bit of a stop feud for Cody. I don't think he touches this title scene until he gets Randy Orton for real, without, Jelly Roll and freaking Pat McAfee. But yeah, I think Cody is going to get his feud with Randy Orton. He gets that sorted out, then he comes back to the title picture. For now, I think Sami Zayn and Gunther will remain on the background of the title picture, while Kevin Owens and CM Punk is sort of the next feud. Or is it? I'll talk more about that later on the show. This book show, I mean. My booking. Backstage. For now, we got Bloodline 2000 2.0. They arrive. Why are they here? Well, they're trying to find a Solo Sikoa after Jacob Fatu laid out Royce Keys on Raw. And they do find Solo. And Solo tells them to get the hell out of here. But surprise, the Bloodline 2000 2.0, aka the Usos, they get attacked by the Tongans, Chimichanga and Kawabunga. I mean, Talatonga and Tamatonga. We have a backstage brawl occurring with the Tongans, and the Tongans are on top. Solo is laughing, saying that he got help. He will take down the Bloodline with ease with these people. And yes, this is to set up the upcoming War Games match, because you know they have to be involved because they are Samoans. So there you go. Baron Corbin. He walks out with the regular US Championship belt. No nonsense with the Trick Williams fur belt thingy that Liliati gifted him. He ditches that. He says that a new dawn has arrived because Baron Corbin has the championship. Anyone who wants to come out and beat him up for it will pay dearly, because he will deliver them to their end of days. He is interrupted by Trick Williams, who challenges him to a rematch, as he did Liliati dirty like that. And he used that sort of distraction or vulnerability. He took advantage of it to win the championship. He is, however, interrupted by one Ricky Saints. He returns. Ricky saw the match at SummerSlam between Baron Corbin and Trick Williams, and he saw Baron win, and he didn't really feel bad for Trick. He does, however, want Baron Corbin's title. Both of them, I mean, by both of them, we have Ricky Saints and... I almost said Trick. We have, yes, Trick Williams and Ricky Saints. I was right the first time. They get into a little brawl, and Baron laughs. He says, you know what? Why don't you guys have a match? Whoever wins gets to face me. Both agree, and a match is officially announced by Nick Aldis, and it starts now as Ricky Saints versus Trick Williams. So, I will have this end in a DQ because Carmelo Hayes interrupts the proceedings. He beats up both men. Baron then goes into the ring. He beats up all of them and raises his title. So what I think is going to happen is that there will be a number one contendership match for the US Championship, which will be fought in a triple threat match between Carmelo Hayes, Ricky Saints, and Trick Williams. And whoever wins faces good old Baron Corbin. However, I think that there is someone coming very soon that might go into this sort of title picture. I think Enzo Amore is going to Smackdown. They didn't package him with Big Cass on Raw, so I'm thinking that Enzo Amore might actually go to SmackDown and just go for the US title, I guess, which is a bad idea considering Enzo Amore and Big Cass are better as a tag team. Trust me, I was there. TV, not in person, but yes. So I think that Enzo Amore is going to get to that title picture once we have the triple threat sorted out. I am predicting, let's just say Trick Williams gets a rematch, and Ricky Saints and Carmelo Hayes can get on a feud. Enzo Amore can, intervene in that Trick Williams versus Baron Corbin match, the next one. And yeah, there you go. There's your U.S. title division. So there you go. Chelsea Green is up next. She comes out with Tiffany Stratton. Chelsea Green, she gets on a mic, and she says, "I would like to dedicate my victory at SummerSlam and the WWE Women's Championship belt to Michael Hayes, who told me that you're not good enough as a woman who would win the Women's Championship, and instead, I would be good enough as a woman to lose to someone like Charlotte or Rhea. I would also dedicate it to Road Dogg, who always saw me as a woman star from day one. He surely feels vindicated right now." She then dedicates her win to Tiffany for helping her, as well as the fans. Gotta be a face. Only for Tiffany to show a little grin, but goes back to being a little sad as Chelsea Green continues her speech. Chelsea says that she will defend her title from anyone, and whoever challenges her will fail because she is Chelsea Green. Tiffany tells her to hand over the mic because she has something to say, and she does, but before she speaks, we got some baddies coming in. Jade Cargill says the win was a fluke, and she wants a rematch against Chelsea Green for that title. However, Charlotte attacks Jade from behind. Security comes out to separate them as a match between Charlotte and Jade starts now. Charlotte Flair versus Jade Cargill. The announced match is up next. Jade Cargill wins by pinfall after a miscommunication happens between Tiffany and Chelsea. After the match, Tiffany and Chelsea argue and Tiffany leaves, which sets up her upcoming heel turn and challenging for Chelsea's title for, I guess, end of the year or maybe around Survivor Series. So, we're gonna slow burn that heel turn. It's coming. You know it. And yeah, we'll see. We'll see if Tiffany gets that title again. Bella Twins come out. They talk about turning their back on Paige at SummerSlam. Brie says that Paige caused her too much pain and didn't feel like she needed to be in the team anymore once Nikki Bella is back. She ends by saying she would rather have her twin sister be the champion instead of her. She is then interrupted by Paige, who cuts a heartfelt promo on their friendship. She says, "What have you done to our friendship? We were friends, and now we are enemies." Kind of tug at the heartstrings kind of speech. Nikki Bella calls her a B, of course, because they're heels. Brawl happens, match is announced, and it's up next. We got Nikki Bella versus Paige. Brie Bella is injured, apparently, so I'm just going to have her be at ringside. Nikki Bella wins by pinfall due to a distraction from Brie. She has, the other hand. She can use that. They beat her up some more after the match and leave. I think it's time for Paige to get a brand new partner. And what better new partner to be with than with Julia? I guess Julia is on a losing streak. She needs someone to help motivate her. Maybe Paige can help. Maybe that TNA woman, Jordan Grace. I don't know. She could also help. But I think it's time for Paige to insert herself into this women's tag team division to get back at the Bella Twins. And I think Julia might be the one here. She's probably the only face in the Smackdown women's division to help her. So, yeah. Backstage, we got Gunther. He wants to find Nick Aldis after screwing him over at SummerSlam. He finds Nick Aldis, he crashes out, he angrily tells him to put him in that Punk versus Owens title match or else. Nick says he doesn't mind having another match with Gunther to prove a point, but since he's eager to get back to fighting, he gets him a match against Sami Zayn for the main event tonight, and he tells him that if he wins the match, maybe he'll do something about inserting him into the match between CM Punk and Kevin Owens. He tells him to prepare for his match. Gunther says, you will pay for this, and leaves. However, a little while later, Cody then comes in and talks to Nick about the Randy Orton problem. And this does two things. It sets up the main event, and it also advances a little bit of the Randy Orton thing. Cody wants to settle the Randy Orton problem once and for all. I will not have him have promo time. He's just gonna, be there, angrily tell him about the Randy Orton thing. And there you go. Main event, Gunther takes on Sami Zayn. And I will have Gunther win by pinfall. And a match is announced next week, which is a triple threat match for the Undisputed WWE Championship. Gunther takes on Punk versus Owens. So, what happens here is a little dusty finish that may involve one Nick Aldis, because he wants to screw over Gunther some more, I guess, or someone else, maybe a Cody. Due to triple threat, it is legal, so maybe we'll have a dusty finish there. Punk retains, which leads to another match, perhaps, if they want to sort of do this, between Nick Aldis and Gunther. And that first match was an appetizer, I feel. And if they want to do it, set them up for a long haul. You know what? Get that second match going between Nick Aldis and Gunther. I bet the crowd would love to see it. So maybe even make that, an even bigger match by having Nick Aldis retire if he loses. That could be a cool idea for Saturday Night's main event, maybe. Maybe a Money in the Bank match. I don't know. But if that does happen, Gunther does retire Nick Aldis. Maybe we'll have a SmackDown GM. Maybe he sort of comes back as Magnus and be an actual wrestler instead of a guy in a suit. But yeah. Meanwhile, we have Cody. Cody goes into a feud with Randy Orton. Sami Zayn, he loses once again against Gunther. He doesn't get that opportunity to be inserted into that match between Kevin Owens and CM Punk. And so we have that sympathy building up. And he gets treated as an underdog. That's that long story building up to WrestleMania next year. And that's when he will win that championship. Because WrestleMania is at Saudi Arabia next year. So, there you go. That is my card. Any questions?
So, there was a bit of a story over the SummerSlam weekend about Carmelo Hayes. He posted a picture on what I think was Instagram. Which I mean, how dare he, man? He posted a picture on Instagram. I guess, you're supposed to protect the business. You can't be posting pictures on Instagram, man.
Yeah, I think Triple H said that, he wishes that kayfabe was still here. And I'm like, dude, you broke kayfabe years ago, and now you're talking
did he
about
actually say
kayfabe,
that?
bro?
Did he actually say that? Bro, he's the one who fucking put out the stupid, behind-the-scenes break kayfabe series. Man. Anyway.
I think he said, I wish people could believe more, or something like that. It's just bro.
Yeah, there's a lot of smarks nowadays, including you and I, but, I think we have a dual brain when it comes to this stuff, right? We have the smart brain, which is, actually analyzing the product and seeing what works and what doesn't work, and then the actual fan side of the brain where you just, enjoy what's happening, so... I think a lot of people are like that nowadays. I feel like the online discourse in general is very much more leaning towards the smart side, where a lot of people, if they find something they don't like, they're 100% dead set on criticizing it and blasting it into obscurity. Versus actually just, taking what you can from it and enjoying it. So, but anyway, that was irrelevant. What do you think happens with Carmelo, Ilya, those two guys that were so heavily involved in the U.S. title scene before Mr. Trick Williams and his friend Little Yachty showed up. Do you think they're going to be inserted back into the scene? Do you think Baron Corbin is going to continue to hold this title for a while? What do you think happens?
Yeah, I think that Baron Corbin is going to be that sort of, kind of like how Gunther is with the Intercontinental Championship. I think they are setting him up to be the next sort of Gunther, kind of dominant kind of guy. As for, I forgot his name, Carmelo Hayes. Carmelo Hayes. I think he is going to be on a tag team with Ilya Dragunov, because we got to build up the tag team division, because we took out the New Day and we took out Motor City Machine Guns, and now we only have Fraxium. So, yeah, it could be that, I could just see him, going the route of LA Knight, just going on a bunch of mid-card feuds, and it's unfortunate, but it is the truth. I think that they are pushing Baron Corbin and they're pushing Trick Williams, because Trick Williams is the better of, the two. By two, of course, I mean Carmelo and Trick. Unfortunate, but it's true. Ray Phoenix and Carmelo Hayes could be a decent feud, at least have some mid-card matches between them. Ilya Dragunov is on a milk carton. I have no idea where he is, but he's on a wanted poster, I guess. But when he comes back, I think he's going to help the US title picture in a big way. Just introduce some more bombast and just explosiveness to that. Unfortunately, I think he's going to be saddled with some more mid-card stuff. I could see him going up against Ricky Saints. I could see him going up against other folks who are in that US title division. But for some reason, WWE doesn't know how to book mid-card. They've forgotten about the mid-card. All they care about is the main event scene. And unfortunately, that has had some repercussions, where the only people that fans care about is just the main event guys. And probably the only mid-carder that people care about right now is probably Chad Gable. So it's unfortunate, but I think SmackDown needs to hone down their mid-card. They need to. Their mid-card is one of the best mid-cards. I would say it's better than Raw, honestly. Even their main event scene with Kevin Owens and Randy Orton coming back, that's a really good... Now it's a really good main event scene. So SmackDown has the power to be sort of the better show than Raw. But with these shows being goddamn terrible, I just don't trust them to bring out, the best version of this roster. So, unfortunately, I think the fate is just mid-card forever, or not use them at all and let them go, which is this company. But
yeah. So, another awkward thing. What do you think their plan is with the interim WWE Women's Champion? I don't know how long Rhea is going to be out for, to the point that they've decided to appoint a interim champion, and now they're both actual faces. So what happens?
So Chelsea Green, unfortunately, will hold the title for 1 or 2 months. Rhea comes back. I don't think the injury is that severe as of now, so it should be healed, or just, it takes a bit more time to heal. Not much longer. But I'm expecting Rhea to come back maybe September, October. Maybe a Saturday Night's Main Event, Rhea comes back right after Chelsea wins a match. So I'm expecting her to hold the title for 1 or 2 months. Rhea comes back. She buries her. She shows her that Rhea Ripley is the only woman WWE cares about at this point. And there you go. She wins. She gets the title. Chelsea Green, I could expect the Tiffany heel turn to come into fruition at that match, where Rhea comes back. Tiffany sort of turns her back on Chelsea Green. So they have a little bit of a feud, while Rhea sort of looks for the newest sort of challenger. And so, yeah, I think Chelsea Green versus Tiffany Stratton is probably the sort of feud after she loses it. And even though I say here something different, but all I'm saying is that Chelsea Green versus Tiffany Stratton is sort of the end goal of this. She will lose her title in 1 or 2 months. And if she doesn't, then jolly, I am surprised. So, but I don't think that she will hold it longer than 1 or 2 months because this company, man. But yeah, I think I answered that question, I suppose.
Yeah, I kind of agree. It's going to be a bit of an awkward reunion between the two, but I think, I don't know. I guess we'll see what happens. It was an odd choice, and
I mean, this might be a spoiler for the Raw part, but I thought the Raw episode coming out of SummerSlam was pretty good. So, we'll see if SmackDown sort of continues, but oh man. Considering the recent string of shows. Ooh. But yeah. You ready for your card? Or
yes, I am ready for my card.
All right. We'll head to your card then. Starting off,
we have a Chelsea Green promo. Chelsea comes out to a decently sized pop and celebrates her WWE Women's Interim Championship victory. She goes on to thank Tiffany, thank the fans, thank other people for her victory, and leading her to pushing her further and further to eventually win the match. And she is interrupted not by Tiffany Stratton, but by Rhea, who comes on the Titantron via a 720p webcam, the same one that we used for Randy Orton. Maybe she borrowed it. And she congratulates Chelsea on her win, but then she reminds her that there's only one true WWE Women's Champion, and that is Rhea Ripley. Chelsea, after this, is attacked by Jade, Michin, and BFAM to take over from behind. She's beaten down, but then Charlotte and Tiffany come out to save her, potentially setting up a women's War Games match. But this also leads into our main event for tonight. So, there you go. After this, we have a backstage segment. Nick Aldis, fresh off his match against Gunther, is interviewed by Kathy Kelly. Nick Aldis says that he stood up and did what a man is supposed to do, standing up for what he believed in and what was right, standing up for himself against Gunther at SummerSlam. And he believes that Gunther now respects him as a man and as a manager because he actually stood up to Gunther, unlike others who haven't. So where does this go? It's weird, and I said this to you at the time, that Nick Aldis, after going through a slugfest with Gunther, getting his ass beat by Gunther, caving to him and putting him in the number one contendership match was a little weird. So I'm not sure if Nick is sort of going to be like turning pseudo heel and being sort of Gunther's friend now that he has more respect for him. I don't know where they're going with this, so keeping it pretty vague here. After this, we have Blake Monroe versus Candice LeRae. I've said this for a couple of weeks now, and this is a interesting match because I I think they said Blake is going to be debuting on this show. Blake attacked Candice a couple weeks ago. I think Candice rolls out Johnny on a cart. Candice gets squashed by Blake Monroe. Johnny does nothing, and that is how Blake's debut on the SmackDown roster goes. So after this, we have a Baron Corbin promo. So Baron Corbin comes out and he thanks the fans for supporting him through all these years, through all his different gimmicks, and he finally has the U.S. title. Baron is then confronted by Carmelo Hayes, who comes out and tells Baron that he wants to face Baron Corbin for his title. He wants his title back, a title that he rightfully deserves because he carried it for weeks. Then Trick just came in and took it without actually doing any work. Ilya Dragunov finally comes off the milk carton and shows up on this show. I think they're waiting for after SummerSlam to bring him back. And he also throws his hat in the ring. Trick Williams then finishes the segment off by showing up with Little Yachty and asking Baron Corbin for a rematch. I think this match is booked by Nick Aldis for next week, and I personally think that maybe Carmelo Hayes wins this match. And you want to know why I think Carmelo Hayes wins this match, Brian? Because if you look at where the next SmackDown is, it is in Boston. So I think this makes sense. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. After this,
pretty cool.
Another backstage segment. We have Haku and the Tongans. So Haku was introduced last week, I believe, as sort of the pseudo-manager for the Tongans, which is interesting to me because I actually, didn't really know that Haku was still doing anything. So Haku is, I guess, the manager for the Tongans, that being Tawa and Tama Tonga. So what happens here is Haku brings the Tongans in and confronts Damian Priest and R-Truth, who are still the tag team title holders, saying they want a shot at their titles. Fraxium then also show up demanding to be involved, and I think this leads to a match later in the show. It's good to see Haku back, and I think this might be an interesting avenue for the Tongans, seeing if they can go down a more lethal route with Haku leading them. So it'll be interesting to see nonetheless, and I'm actually glad that Haku is back and doing something, so it's pretty cool to see. So after this, we have Kevin Owens coming out for a promo. This is a Aftermath show, so it's pretty going to be promo heavy considering it was a big pay-per-view. Kevin says that it is good to be back in the ring, that he is fully healed, and then after this, he R-farms a little bit from the crowd, getting a couple of chants. Sami Zayn then comes out and interrupts. He congratulates Kevin, and he says that, you won the match, congrats, but, you really don't deserve this spot because, this was a spot that I worked for and I actually won the title and then I was screwed over and now, you have the spot that I was supposed to have. So Kevin, kind of tells Sami, well, you had a chance, you had multiple chances and you lost. So, there's that. Sami was said that, he was kind of happy that Nick Aldis got his ass beat by Gunther, and then Gunther comes out of nowhere to attack Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens manages to fight off Gunther, and Sami just kind of stands there and does nothing. So I think this is going to lead eventually to a Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn feud, probably going into WrestleMania. So that'll be quite interesting. So as for where Gunther goes after this, I think he ends up being the next number one contender for the title. I think he's been on the chase for a while, and I think he deserves to finally get a proper shot at this title and a run with it. So that'll be nice. So the semi-main event, we have Fraxium versus the Tongans. So this was from the backstage segment earlier. I think that the Tongans end up winning this one after Haku is able to lay a distraction down, and Tongans pick up the win. I think the Tongans are going to be heading for number one contendership territory, and then they will probably end up taking the titles, hopefully off of Damian Priest and R-Truth, so Damian Priest can go and finally be a full-time guy in AAA. So after this, a backstage segment. The Bella Twins are interviewed about turning on Paige. Nikki Bella says that they knew all along that Paige was temporary. She knew that she was better than Paige, and Breed said that she knew that she didn't need Paige to win. And it's always been the Bella Twins together forever. So they tossed Paige aside, as she should have been. So, because she's trash. Maybe she calls her a B word, because this is television. We can say that. As for where this leads, I don't know. I don't know if Paige has a contract through the rest of the year to WrestleMania. Maybe she, pairs up with Julia, like you said. Maybe she, pairs up with another face somewhere and invites the Bella Twins. I don't know. I know the Saudis love older wrestlers, so maybe we'll get another. Maybe we'll get like Natalia coming back or something. I don't know. We'll see. But hopefully Paige is still involved. She seemed to be the best worker actually out of all of the Bella Twins in that whole match. So. And for the main event, we have Charlotte Flair versus Jade Cargill. This was announced last week in a backstage segment. I think Jade wins this one by a pinfall. I think B-Fab and Michin attempt to interfere. They are chased off by Tiffany and Chelsea, but Blake Monroe arrives and attacks Tiffany Stratton, causing a distraction, and Jade is able to pick up the win. I think they're going to push Blake immediately into the U.S. title scene. To fight Tiffany, we have yet another blonde female entered into the SmackDown roster. I think this makes now 5 in total. I guess maybe 6 if you count Julia. I think we have Chelsea, Tiffany, Charlotte, Blake, Julia, and one more that I am now forgetting. Who else is in here? Oh, Maxine Dupree. Actually, no, she's more...
Julia's blonde?
Yeah. Pretty sure she changed her hair to blonde a couple of weeks ago.
I thought she's a brunette.
No, I'm pretty sure she dyed her hair blonde.
Could be blonde.
Yeah, she did. She dyed her hair blonde. And Jordan Grace, right? Jordan Grace. And so...
Yeah.
So, yeah, we have a lot of blonde women on this roster. So... It's too many.
Blonde woman.
Oh, Chelsea Green is not blonde. My bad. Chelsea Green is not blonde. I thought she was.
Yeah, she's a brunette.
I mean, Alexa Bliss. Alexa Bliss is blonde. Sorry.
Yeah, there you go. Okay. Charlotte Flair also.
Yes, I knew that. So, yeah, we have a lot of them on this roster, Ryan. I'm wondering if Triple H has a type.
This infection of blonde women has to stop. They need to dye their hair green.
Oh, man. So.
Or black. I don't know. Okay. Well, I got a couple questions. So, number one, I guess since we're talking about blonde women. So, you mentioned Blake Monroe. I think you were... I thought you were talking, about pinning her up against Chelsea Green. But I guess you had higher aspirations of her going into the women's championship title picture?
No, yeah, she's going in the
Could
U.S.
you?
title scene, not the women's title scene. So,
Oh, okay. So I totally forgot about Blake Monroe. Actually, I forgot she existed. But could you see Blake Monroe sort of going up against Chelsea Green, or would it be Blake Monroe versus Rhea Ripley? I mean, how sort of early is that push towards women's title picture contention?
I could see that like Monroe ends up, maybe she feuds with Tiffany and then ends up feuding with Chelsea. I could see her being a opponent for Chelsea to put Chelsea over, maybe. But I think that they're going to push her against Tiffany to start off with to give her like a decent enough feud to establish herself
Yeah.
on the roster. So
All right, that makes sense. Makes sense. So you also talked about Nick Aldis, and I guess the question is, could you see a Nick Aldis versus Gunther 2? Or does Nick Aldis go up against another wrestler, maybe? Another heel? Or could you see him maybe, I don't know, being retired as a guy in a suit and comes back as Magnus? I don't know. Where do you see, I guess, Nick Aldis going moving forward?
I can definitely see um, him getting involved in a like a war games type match. So like if we end up doing
Oh,
Raw and SmackDown, maybe.
well, if they want to. They're probably going to do a bloodline again. But hey, if it's Raw versus SmackDown, it'll be a quick diversion. So it's not the same as last year. So there you go. Okay. Wow. It definitely interesting. Um, I could see that, but I'm not sure if WWE wants to take that option because, as far as I'm concerned, they want to break away from tradition, from what Vince did. So yeah, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what they do. Um, I guess another question. So the Tongans, as you mentioned, they got Haku. Could you see them being tag team champions as a result of? I guess this is a push now. They're pushing the Tongans. I guess. Could you see them holding the tag team championships, maybe at the end of the year, or something like that? And could you see them being sort of the centerpiece of the SmackDown tag team division? Now that we're trying to sort of legitimize tag team wrestling, I guess, in the WWE.
Yeah, I could definitely see them and being a tag team championship team. I think, especially with the lack of depth on SmackDown that we have in the tag team division, I definitely think that they can be a championship team. Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah. Um, I guess like I don't know. Would you have sort of Fraxium sort of challenge the Tongans if they get it or something?
Um, I don't know. I mean, I think by that point we'll hopefully have another team in SmackDown to make things interesting. I think Fraxium have kind of been in the stagnant position. They really haven't done a whole lot, and they just kind of
Yeah.
exist. I think they're more or less a jobber team. So
Well, that's because they don't feature tag teams a lot.
yes,
They usually just present them separately, which is kind of stupid, but that is this company. All right. Well, that is about it. That is all we got for our predictions and bookings for the next episode of Friday Night SmackDown. And as I stated earlier, we will watch the next episode of SmackDown when it comes out. We will score our predictions and bookings based on what happens there. And we'll come back here. We'll tell you what we got. And we do this whole thing all over again. So until then, thank you for ordering a slice of pep of probably next week on SmackDown. And if you're down for some fresh oven baked wrestling content, Stop on by at Grapperinos and order yourself some content you can grapple with. See you next time, everybody.